Welcome to my self-important Magic the Gathering show. This week is Street Fighter week. Yay! Street Fighter was a secret lair that came out quite some time ago. That had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards in it apparently. Uh, and I think there was one bonus card I think, or it was two. One, since it's 8, it was probably two sets of 4, and it might have had two secret layers or two bonus cards. I don't remember. I could look it up, but I don't care enough. We're gonna start over here. I tried recording this before, and I didn't have like all of the creatures in this deck, but stuff happened, and I had to end that recording. That was unfortunate, but let's get into it. This is E Honda Sumo Champion, 4 and 2 white for a 0/7 human warrior with Sumo Spirit. As long as it's your turn, each creature, this includes opponent's creatures, and that's so wild, assigns combat damage equal to the toughness rather than the power. Then we have 100 Hand Slap. Whenever E Honda Sumo Champion attacks, up to 100 target creatures each. 100. That's so ridiculous. Creatures each get plus O plus X until end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. And every time I've recorded it, I've said those same things because it's still been true, and I've still had the same reaction reading it. And then we have Elish Norn here. She just makes us stronger and them weaker. Rasad in Bashir is kind of a backup commander. It also allows our creatures to assign combat damage to toughness on our opponent's turn. And then if we have the initiative, we double the toughness of each of our creatures when Rasad attacks, so that's cool. Rasad himself notably does not give the initiative, so we'd have to find other ways to do that. Now we have a series of creatures that just have good toughness for their mana cost. So we have 04, 04, 04, 06, 210, 17, 17, and then we have the Ristic Buddy Esper Sentinel. His power will never be any higher than 1, I don't think, but that's fine. Assemble the players. You might have remembered this from another deck where we had low power. I think that was back in Abzan. Look at the top card of our library at any time, and then once a turn we can cast a creature spell from the top of our library if it has power 2 or less, which is most of the creatures in our deck. Endless Atlas, draw cards if we control 3 or more lands with the same name, and we're in monocolor. Draw a card once a turn if a creature with power 2 or less enters, and then this will come back as an enchantment if it dies as a creature. Welcoming Vampire is the same thing, except it flies and doesn't come back. Minwu as Mangar the Diplomat over here. Whenever our opponent attacks us with 2 or more creatures, or an opponent casts their second spell a turn, we draw a card for each of those instances, and of course he has more toughness than power, and his power is also 2. Trouble in Pairs is the same thing, but on an enchantment, and also makes our opponent skip extra turns. Delaney makes our low power things unblockable by 3 or greater things, and also if an ability of a creature we control with power 2 or less triggers, it triggers an additional time. So that's both our commander and our backup commander. Zatalpa is just a funny card because instead of being a 4/4 with double strike and all those other keywords, he's effectively 8/8. It's funny to find decks that Zatalpa goes in. Moonshaker Cavalry is just here as a finisher because, like, as a 6/6, doesn't really get any benefit from our commander over the other than the plus O plus X. And with that 6 power, it's this is also a non-bow with Delaney, but like if we're casting this, it means it don't matter. Now we're in our lands. Emeria puts stuff back on the battlefield as long as we control 7 or more planes. Everybody draws and then discards. Of course, we ask permission because we don't like forcing people to discard. Everybody draws. We get to draw if we attacked with at least 2 things. Put something at the bottom of our library as long as we control 2 more white permanents, which hopefully we do. If we don't, we're in trouble anyway. Adds mana equal to our devotion. Planes. I like the Streets of New Campina full art lands for this series because they either look like places that you would have a fight in a fighting game or locations in a beat 'em up, or they're just, you know, big high-rise buildings which kind of fit. Terrain generator just in case we draw into lands when we already still have lands in hand. Daxos gets more toughness the bigger our devotion is, so that's great. And he also, of course, has that piddly life gain. Heliod's intervention gets rid of artifacts and enchantments. Destroys all creatures with power 4 or greater, which we've seen at least 2 of, but that's fine. It just means that we have to be careful with our Elish Norn. Of course, our Elish Norn puts all of our zeros at 2, so they're still lower than that. It's just that our 2s go to 4. And then this one is each player controls chooses any number of creatures he or she controls with total power 4 or less, then sacrifices all other creatures they control. That's a great way to get around people with large boards and with large boards filled with indestructible stuff, because it says sacrifice. And we get to keep all of our zeros and 2 of our 2s or 1 of our 4s. Battle Bywater gets rid of anything with 3 or greater. Again, we have to be careful with our Norn and our cavalry and stuff like that. Settle the Wreckage to clear out one big attack. Choose a number between 0 and 10 and destroy all creatures with power greater than or equal to the chosen number. We'll probably pick 3. Sometimes we'll pick 5, depending on how things are. Destroy all creatures with power greater than target creature's power. Destroy all creatures with power 3 or greater, and then bring back all creatures from our graveyard with power 2 or less to our hand. Give our creatures vigilance, because, you know, take advantage of our toughness to have them still around for blocking. And then also, since they have a lot of toughness, we can block 2 creatures as long as they ain't too big. Lightning Greaves to protect our commander. Mirror Shield to protect our commander. And also, it gives more toughness. That's funny. Protects our commander. Protect our commander. Protect our commander. This will protect our board and untap them. It's also just a 1/10. Like, 5 is a little expensive, but hey. Then land tax for catch up. Soul Ring. We use the Sonic one because he's a video game character like E Honda is. Arcane Signet. I use this one because I don't know where it comes from, but it's a gauntlet, so it reminds me of the Infinity Gauntlet. And Marvel vs. Capcom is a video game series. We have the Waifu Heart, Marble Diamond, Mind Stone with the Cyberman. It felt fitting just looking at it. Pro Medallion, this is just a pretty card. That's the only reason. Iron Crag. Soul Calibur is a game series, and also this could be a fighting game stage. Thought Vessel feels like a location in like Final Fight. And then of course Fallout is a video game series. Arcane Chaomancer's map. This feels like Mortal Kombat, if I'm being honest, with all of their dimension hopping. But also Ketchup Ramp. Catcher's Monument. This is another place that people look like they can fight. This guy looks like he could be a fighting game character. Oh, like Jack from Tekken. He is a character I like trying to use. Wind Crystal, Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares, Unwanted Remake. That's kind of funny because you get that with video games a lot. Bovine Intervention, Disenchant. That actually looks like a screen from a video game now that I think about it. Like one of them side-scrolling shooters. Fateful Absence. It's kind of Castlevania-y. Parting Gust. Generous Gift. Memories of Nibelheim. White Auracite. I like this one because it's a removal spell that also... It technically costs 3 as long as you cast a second spell that turn because it gives you a mana back and then ramps you the rest of the game. White Plume Adventurer gives us the initiative. And then it can untap all of our creatures as long as we finish the initiative dungeon. Siegen Dungeoneer also gives us the initiative. And then also can give a Cleric, Rogue, Warrior, or Wizard protection from creatures, which, hey, if our as long as our commander doesn't have the Shroud Boots, we can target it for the protection, or since this thing's a warrior, we can target this to give this protection. Goliath Paladin also gives us the initiative. It also has a very nice toughness for what it's worth. Ancient Gold Dragon is really big, so it is in danger of our of all of our board wipes. But, well, all of our board wipes except for the one that is only for attackers, obviously. But it can create us a bunch of small creatures that fly. So that's worth it to have out. And then we're back to E Honda. Like these 7 creatures could probably be other stuff that do more, but I kind of just wanted to finish the deck when I was putting it together. We can always come back to it at the end of the episode if we still have time, which I don't think we will because we've got to get through 8. But I like this deck, even if some of our things will definitely get taken out by our own board wipes if we play them. But, you know, like this is... Elish Norn is for ahead, and the board wipes are for behind. Oh, and Keijo is reference to an anime that is also making a joke about how when you see a creature with more toughness than power, you say that it has a big butt. And Keijo is about women in swimsuits fighting with their butts on a pool. It's very, very silly. And I think they play it straight, so it's very funny, just incredibly dumb. I'm going to take a sip of water before we do the next one, which will be Chun-Li. I also like that the Secret Lair was the base for characters for Street Fighter 2. I mean, I don't know what else they could have done. Well, I guess they could have not done this, but this was the best idea. So Chun-Li is also a finished deck, but she was finished the whole time because it kind of put itself together. So Chun-Li is 1 white blue for a 3/3 human soldier. She has multi-kicker. Ha 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 ha. Multi-kicker just means you can pay this cost more than once, as many times as you have mana for. So when Chun-Li enters the battlefield, exile up to X target instant cards from your graveyard, where X is the number of times Chun-Li was kicked. put a kick counter on each of them. Then she has Lightning Kick. Whenever Chun-Li attacks, copy each exiled card with its own, you own with a kick counter on it. You may cast the copy. So you still need the mana to cast those copies. So as you can guess from this, we probably have a lot of instants in this deck. So now we have Goldbug, Humanity's Ally. Same casting cost as our commander, but that's alright because we're probably not casting our commander on curve because that wastes the kicker ability. So it's a 3/3 robot that has more than meets the eye, which means that you can pay that smaller cost to have it come back on its vehicle side, and we'll get to the vehicle side in a second. So prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to attacking humans you control. And hey, Chun-Li is a human, so that's good. And this guy and Goldbug doesn't have to do anything for that to happen. It's just a static effect. And whenever you cast your second spell, each turn convert Goldbug. So we do got to be careful. We probably only want to convert Goldbug in our second main phase. So Goldbug Scrappy Scout has Living Metal, which means it's a creature on our turn, but a vehicle that is not a creature on our opponent's turn. And you notice it has no crew cost, so you cannot crew it at all. So it's only a creature on your turns. Human spells you control can't be countered. And whenever Goldbug and at least one human attacks, draw a card and convert Goldbug. Which means that at least you get this side before blockers are declared, so they still don't take combat damage. But you're probably going to want to beef up Goldbug's defenses because he's only a 3/3. Vega the Watcher, we draw a card whenever we cast a spell other than our hand. And we are casting copies with the kick counters. So we'll be drawing cards there. Whenever we cast your second spell each turn, draw a card. Whenever we cast or copy an instant or sorcery, we draw a card. Whenever we cast our second spell, this thing gets a +1/+1 counter, and we draw a card. And hold on, I have... my nose itches, and I think it's because of nose hairs curling around the edge of my nostril, and you probably didn't need to hear that, but for all my dudes out there who also are old enough to have nose hairs, or maybe ladies, I don't know about lady nose hair in situations, but I imagine we all keep a pair of tweezers around to get rid of those darn things. Archmage of Runes makes our sorceries cheaper, but also we get or instants and sorceries cheaper, but we also get to draw a card when we cast them. Whenever a player draws their second card during their turn, you draw a card. So whenever we draw a card from casting instants and sorceries, we'll get to draw a card, and with the Council 4, we get to draw another card. And then whenever a player casts their second spell during their turn, you create a knight. So whenever we cast our second spell, we get a knight. Brotherhood Regalia, because we want... it would be even cooler if Chun-Li wasn't blocked. Also kind of a backup for Goldbug. This creature cannot be blocked whenever we cast a non-creature spell. And the way Chun-Li works is that when she attacks, we get to cast those spells, which means before blockers, we can make the Spell Fist unblockable if we have the mana to cast the spell. Can't be blocked except by walls. Can't be blocked. Can't be blocked and has Shroud. That's important. Whenever this creature enters, and whenever we cast a non-creature spell, this thing gets +1/+0 until end of turn and can't be blocked. It doesn't have haste, but it is accounting for the fact that you might be able to give it haste. Hint. Well, I guess we do have a way to give it haste because we probably have Boots and Greaves in the deck. But it has War 2, so that's cool, and Vigilance, and Flying. And is a 5/5. Can't be blocked as long as we cast a non-creature spell this turn. So that's a bunch of creatures that can get in if we're casting stuff with the kick ability. Then we're on to our lands. Once again, I tried to make them... I wanted stuff that looked like fighting game locations or beat 'em up locations. And I think I did a pretty good job. Some more than others. And there's the island from New Capenna. Like the ones that are super zoomed out, like work less. Oh, and then we have Toadek Spear because Lara Croft is a video game. Bluster Squall. This one has less good of a reason. It just taps creatures we don't control, and that's just good. Heliod. If we wanted to... I don't know. Like, a lot of video games have last... I'm thinking of Marvel vs. Capcom game where it had the giant apocalypse at the end of one of them. Aether Eyes, Settle the Wreckage, Aether Spouts. There's the Greaves. I picked the ones that looked like video game like power-ups. The boots, the helm, plate this time. I don't think the plate made it into the last one. Mithril Coat, Hammer of Nazan, Sonic Soul Ring, Gauntlet Signet, Azorius, Cold Steel, Felwar Stone. Haha, Minecraft reference maybe? Actually, it makes me think of Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy the most. Where is this hair that is tickling my nose? Whew. I know our nose hairs are important and stuff, but the ones that are right at the front, they can go away. Marble Diamond, Mind Stone, Sky Diamond, Talisman of Progress, Iron Crag again, Thought Vessel again, Osgood, Operation Double. I just like that we get to investigate whenever we cast a spell within our hand, and she can help pay for those clues. Solemn again, Bounce Off. So now we're in our instance. Chain of Vapor, Fading Hope, Into the Flood Maw, Path to Exile, Pongify, Rapid Hybridization, Stern Dismissal, String of Disappearances, Swords to Plowshares, Unsummon, Unwanted Remake, Vapor Snag, Parting Gust, Reality Shift, Generous Gift, Memories of Nibelheim, Monastery Mentor, because now we are making creatures whenever we cast a non-creature spell. Hermes makes birds, and then we get to scry when we attack with birds. Zephyr can make spirits, but also flicker stuff if we want to. Makes birds again. Makes drakes. And we're back up to her. If I were to change this, I notice I don't have Fateful Absence over here as another piece of removal just to get up to 18. Even though I have 5 Mass Disruption spells, is that I'd probably put that in, but I don't have anything I specifically want to take out. I don't know how well this deck would do, but I do like the fact that the kick counters don't care what Chun-Li iteration it is. Chun-Li only cares that if they have a kick counter or not if the one that you cast most recently, put them on there. So because it doesn't say exiled with Chun-Li, it says exiled with kick counters. So you always have access to these, even if she has to respawn. So that's cool. Now we have Blanka, a deck that I found mildly difficult to build because it's not really my wheelhouse, and it's also something that I don't think is very good in Commander. So we have Blanka, Ferocious Friend, 3 red green for a 5/5 human beast warrior with haste. The haste is nice. With rolling attack, as long as you've cast 3 or more spells in a turn, he has trample. And then also Electric Thunder. Whenever Blanka becomes the target of a spell, it doesn't say spell we control, so if our opponents target him, we at least get this as a consolation prize. He gets +2 until the turn and deals 2 damage to each opponent. And then whenever a commander you control deals combat damage to an opponent, so that's specifically the combat damage, it deals that much damage to each other opponent. And then if a red source we control, which Blanka is red in addition to being green, deals an amount of combat damage less than Osier Axonal's power, it deals this much damage instead. So that 2 to each opponent becomes 4 to each opponent. And then it can come back as this land, and then for 3 and tap it, we can transform it back as long as we've dealt 4 or more combat damage. That's total, not to any one thing. Sulfim doubles non-combat damage. This spreads around excess non-combat damage. So if we hit one thing with non-combat damage and it dies and there was leftover damage, Torolf will send that damage somewhere else. Thobrand does an extra 2 of any type whenever there's any type of damage is dealt, as long as there's a red source. This is the same thing, but only 1 damage. Whenever a creature control will do damage to a creature let's go over to card info. It's permanent or player, so it got oracled. So this is doubles damage. This doubles damage. This also doubles damage, but only to opponents. This triples damage. This doubles damage. And this triples damage. So some of them say a source we control, and some of them say damage to an opponent or a permanent they control. So none of these things will increase the damage to us or our stuff. It's just that they're all kind of worded different. Then Roaming Throne to double triggers from double Blanka's triggers. Zada here, so it says that whenever we cast an instant or sorcery spell, and if we target only Zada with it, it'll target all of our creatures that are legal targets. Well, it creates copies. So if we had any Magecraft that says whenever you cast or copy, those would go off, but I don't think I put any of those in here because Zada isn't the commander. Manamorphose, specifically the one featuring Storm, because once again, Marvel vs. Capcom. And this is just a silly card that adds to Storm count. And that's probably why they've printed it for Storm. Whenever one or more creatures we control fight or become blocked, we draw a card. And then we can pay 2 in either a red or green to double a creature's power until end of turn, and then that creature must be blocked. Then we're in our lands. The same thing. This is a okay. So Edge of Eternities is out, right? And they put they did so good with the bonus sheet for lands, and I think they finished like 2 or 3 unfinished land cycles, if I'm not mistaken. Honestly, let's go over here. I was looking at the Sonic Super Drop for the Hedgehog decks that I was doing for another episode. That probably will let you know when I recorded this versus when I record that. This sentence will say that too, but yeah, there's no guarantee what order I release these in now that I stopped saying what week it is. But let's go to Scryfall. Oh. Yeah, I typed in the wrong one. You know, Broken Land. EOS. Let's see. Yeah, I know this is a tangent, but I think this land cycle view all prints. WWK. Well, I guess it's not a finishing of that set if this one's there. So they printed so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Did they now let's go back here, see if they so those are just allied colors. Let's see if they did the enemy colors. Or if they just reprinted them. Oh, yeah, it looks like they finished the cycle, because I didn't see that in the other one. Yep. Yeah, so they finished this cycle. And then there's another... And then there was another cycle. I just have to scroll down until I find it. Or find one example of it. I mean, these are all pretty too. Like were they not in EOS? It would be funny if I think it's because the other cycle I'm thinking of are commons. They didn't get this treatment. Even though I feel they deserve the treatment just as much as the ones that turn into creatures. We got 5 of the 10 shock lands back. That was wild. Now I know I saw it. Oh, they put them in the commander product. Because I don't think irrigated farmland did exist. Sheltered thicket existed. Canyon slough existed, but I don't think glittering mastiff or festering thicket existed. So that's 2 more. So we're still missing Simic, Orzhov, and Izzet for this cycle. Anyway, back to Blanka. And that this is the only card in this cycle where if you tap it and each opponent gains a life. And then Snowlands because we're in green. Oh, I was expecting a land, and I'm like, oh wait, wrong deck. It's like, we're in Gruul, not Jund. Jund is later. Basilisk Collar is great when you have Trample. And Lifelink is great when you're doing 2 damage to each of your opponents. And then Shadow Spear. Pest Infestation, Shattering Spree, Vandal Blast, and we chose the one with Deadpool on it because Marvel vs. Capcom again. Mizium Mortars, Delayed Blast Fireball. And now we're on to the things that target our stuff. Blossoming Defense to give hexproof, but also +2/+2 until end of turn. Legolas's Quick Reflexes, once again, targets our own thing, but also gives it hexproof reach. And when we tap it, it deals damage equal to its power up to 1 target creature. You know, so we cast this before we attack. Royal Treatment. Gives hexproof and then also a royal token, so it has ward 1 and also an additional +1 power and toughness. Snake It Veil gives it a +1/+1 counter and hexproof. You know, those are just emergency protect our thing if we don't have anything else to protect our thing. Tyvar Stand gives hexproof and indestructible and may increase its power and toughness if we choose to pay more. Heroic Intervention to protect all of our stuff. Mirror Shield because we don't want to deal with opponents' Death Touchers. Swiftfoot Boots again. But no Lightning Greaves because that gives Shroud, and we do not want Shroud. Champion's Helm, Darksteel Plate, Mithril Coat, Hammer of Nizan. Brash Taunter because it's funny. And it kind of goes with the vibe of the deck. Sonic Soul Ring, Arc Sig, Goblin Archaeomancer to give a slight reduction in cost of our stuff. Gruul Signet. We can trade that for something different. 2 rocks tied together. Makes sense to me. Herd Heirloom. It's an artifact that only costs 2 mana that can tap for any color. That's Arcane Signet good. It's just that you have to be in green the color that didn't need this. But it also says you can also tap it to give target creature with power 4 or greater to trample, just in case we didn't fulfill that requirement for Blanka. But also, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, we draw a card, so it's card draw on top of everything else. And to the north, the grab are Snowland, Nature's Lore, Farseek, Rampant Growth, Sakura Tribe Elder, Talisman of Impulse. I like this one because it's like, you know, who's playing the stage music? Oh, it's the 12th Doctor for some reason. 3 visits. Slizno the Spike Stampede, because our commander is in fact a beast. And then we can do this fight thing, which also could have synergy with that other card that says we draw a card when something fights. And then this will either get us a land, or we can make Blanka fight something. Creature we control deals damage to another creature or a planeswalker. Fights. Destroy an artifact or make Blanka slightly bigger. I like the flexibility. Nature's Claim. I don't normally use this card because of that whole 4th life thing, but it's a 1 mana destroy artifact or enchantment. And then this can allow a creature to deal its damage equal to its power to a creature an opponent controls, but if we return a land to our hand, we get to do double the damage, so neat. Then we have Collective Resistance that has Escalate. It can either it costs 1 and a green to do one of the 3 things, but then we can pay another green to do a second of the things, and then we can pay a 3rd green to do all 3 things. So it can cost 1 and 3 green to destroy an artifact, destroy an enchantment, and also give a creature hexproof and indestructible until end of turn. Contest of Claws deals damage equals power, and then if there was excess damage, we discover, which, you know, means reveal cards from the top of our library until we get a non-land permanent of that mana value or less, and then we can either put it, no, it's any card, isn't it? Yeah, and it can go into our hand or we can cast it. Live Wire Lash, this went in here just to be like, oh, look at this card that existed before Blanka, which where they got the idea for Blanka's power. Equipped creature has +2/+0 and has, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell, this creature deals 2 damage to target creature or player. So this on Blanka means he deals 2 damage to each opponent, and then another 2 damage wherever you want. Nature's Way, that's deals damage again. Ram Through deals damage, but if they have trample, excess damage goes to the controller. Beast Within. Gargos. It's an 8/7 with vigilance, and that Hydra spell thing I don't think matters at all. But whenever a creature you control becomes a target of a spell, Gargos can fight something for you. So why not? It's an 8/7, so you're probably going to do that at least once a turn. Yeah, I do like the way this turned out. How many spells? It's like we don't have a whole lot of spells that target Blanka, I don't think. But we can at least give him trample a lot and try to make the spells that do target him count. So that was my goal. Oh, I closed my search tab. Oh well. Now we have Reach for the Stars. Whoa. With Dhalsim. Pliable Pacifist. And now my other nostril is giving me the business. 2 green-white for a 1/3 human monk with reach. Dhalsim has teleport, which means Dhalsim Pliable Pacifist is hexproof unless it's attacking. So we just don't attack with Dhalsim. That's fair enough. Then, whenever a creature you control with reach attacks, untap it, and it can't be blocked by creatures with greater power this combat. So, neat. It gives all of our creatures with reach Skulk, for what it's worth, even though it doesn't say Skulk. And then, whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, draw a card. Yay, drawing cards. Then, this set has not come out as of the recording of this video, but this card was spoiled, and I thought it was funny. And it kind of steered the direction of a decent portion of this deck. So Adame costs 1 white and is a 0/2. That's amusing. Doesn't have reach. But whenever a creature you control enters, it gains 1 life. If it is a spider, put a +1/+1 counter on it. Hilarious. Assemble the players again, because we're going to have a lot of things with low power. And it's cast a creature spell, not when it enters. That's important. Enduring Innocence again. Welcoming Vampire again. Minwu again, because it's the whites in the deck, and this is just a good card. Trouble in Pairs again. Delaney again, because our things with reach will have low power, so this kind of just increases that whole thing. And then Sidar Kondo of Jamura. I believe they were in an Abzan. Yeah, they were in that one Abzan deck. The whole flanking thing. Whenever a creature without flanking blocks this creature, the blocking creature gets -1/-1 till end of turn. But also, creatures your opponent control without flying or reach cannot block creatures with power 2 or less. And that doesn't say creatures we control. That mucks up the entire battlefield, and that's hilarious. And it has partner, which doesn't matter. Rasad making another appearance, because we have things that have power lower than their toughness, which also means E-Honda is appearing in someone else's deck. Then we have our lands. More snow lands than usual. Oh, the Crowsand Verge, because it can grab non-basic forest and a non-basic plains. They can be basic, but you have the option of non-basic. Reliquary Tower, because we're drawing a lot of cards. I also really like this printing of it. I like this version of Sun Petal Grove because, there's that part in Street Fighter where you destroy a car. Pest Infestation, Heliod's Intervention. Nylea's Intervention to go specifically after creatures with flying, or to get a bunch of land cards in our hand. However the game's going. But even though we have a lot of reach, we don't have flyers, so this is a great board wipe for flyers. Battle of the Bywater once again. Settle the Wreckage. Dust to Dawn. Arachnogenesis. This is great with Aunt May out because it doesn't say cast a creature spell. It's when it says a creature enters. And this is a create X 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. Great. Mithril Coat, Sonic Soul Ring, Arcane Signet again, Into the North, Marble Diamond, Moss Diamond, Nature's Lore, Farseek, Rampant Growth, Selesnya Signet, Talisman of Unity, Thought Vessel, 3 Visits, Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares, Unwanted Remake, Bovine Intervention, Collective Resistance again, Fateful Absence this time. Nature's Chant because it's white-green, so I did this instead of Disenchant. Parting Gust, Beast Within, Generous Gift, Memories of Nibelheim. Arrest of the Endless Web also creates spiders when our opponents cast instants and sorceries. And that's the end. And is that the whole deck? Oh no, we still have 20 more spots. Okay, we're gonna throw in more spiders because that personally amuses me. And also, even though we have 6 mass disruptions, we could probably put in more. We can put in the other ones from E Honda's deck. Let's go to type. We only have 9 creatures, so we want to. We can put in 20 creatures, but we probably don't need to put in 20. Let's go over here. Let's go over to Keijo. And this is why we put Mass Disruption in its own section. Fell the Mighty, I think we can put in. And Expel the Interlopers, but not Slaughter the Strong. We can also put Retribution of the Meek. So let's select all. Let's copy. Doing export would have got the specific versions. We know that's already in there. Well, you know what? Let's just do it like this. And then we can just remove the extras. So we move Dusk. We move Settle. We move Battle. And we move Heliod. And then what's nice is that everything I added was an expensive card, or an expensive mana value card. Yep, we only had 11 regular pieces of removal anyway. So, let's grab correct versions, because we're weird. Okay, no, that's fine. Fell the Mighty. We like that. Spell the Interlopers. That happens sometimes. You go away. This one, because it's not foil. Settle the Wreckage was only already in there. Yep. So we have 3 or greater and 4 or greater. That 3 or greater will get some of our things. Wherever she is, it'll get Arasta of the Endless Web, but that's fine. Arasta is also kind of removal bait because they're going to want to get rid of her so we don't get too many. But I'm still fine with this. I might take them back out depending on how many spiders we get, but what's funny is that we could do archers instead, but because of Aunt May, I'm like, I want to do spiders just in case we get Aunt May in an early hand. So T, spider, because it's funny. We're also going to order CMC just to see the small spiders first. Whenever a Mirkwood spider attacks, target legendary creature you control gains death touch until end of turn. That can give Aunt May death touch, but it doesn't matter because she doesn't have any power. Can give these 2 and these 2. and so that's 5. Because we're not attacking with Dhalsim ever, unless like we know we're gonna win. So that's 5. That's 5. Oh no, 6 things we can give Death Touch to. So that's not a lot of possible targets. This has Graft. That also can give Reach, but like our whole deck is Reach mostly. Like this has Death Touch but not Reach. This has Reach, but it doesn't have Death Touch, so dealing its power to a creature with flying and opponent controls probably doesn't matter, unless you're in a very specific Bolt the Bird situation, which is funny. Okay, so is 1/3 for 2 our best 2-mana options? Yes. I do like the Twitching Doll because itself is a spider. Doesn't have Reach, but while it's removal bait, which having removal bait, as I like to say, tends to be good. We can also sacrifice it for a number of spiders. So we like you. Oh, but let's see if there's a more disgusting version of it. There is. That's awful. That's very awful. So we're just going to use this version. That is still awful. This card is awful. Ugh. If you scoop to this card, I don't blame you. Like, just to not have to look at it. Oh, this thing has Wither. That's neat. We are going to maybe board a lot of these to start. This one has Reach, Death Touch for 1 less toughness. Not sure if we need that. Okay, so now we're on 3 mana value, so we definitely want better than 1/3. We're not gonna have a whole lot of mutate, so that don't matter. Can only block creatures with flying, but it's a 3/3 for 3 with Reach. I think we can do better. 4/2, but it is a small budded spider, which is weird. 1/4, that's at least, you know, somewhat justifying its 1 higher mana cost. 4/3, 2/3, 1/3. 1/4 again, but oh, this is the one that creates sapperling tokens. That doesn't really matter. 1/5. At least makes it to the maybe board because that's an increase of 2. Thran Spider is a 2/4. That's technically better, but that 2 don't matter. Oh, Twin Silk Spider does get you 2 creatures. So that's at least gets into the maybe board. Oh, Web Spinner Cuff. Okay, yeah. This is Web Shooters before the Web Shooters. That's actually pretty good. It's only a 1/4, but like if we weren't just going in on spiders. This is a 2/5. It has First Strike. That's mildly interesting. I like Wither, but let's not infect. Did I put in the Wither creature? I don't think I did. Oh, I did. Because it was of the correct mana value. So at 4, 2-5 is technic. No, 2-5. The 3-5 is acceptable. Dies. Things that die into another creature. This one is obviously better. Because at least it creates this creature of the same size. So that one maybe's. The one that dies to half its size doesn't. Oh, here's a 3-5. It has Morbid. Oh, and if something died that turn, we get to investigate. This cares about artifact creatures, which we don't. This destroys equipment, which, considering the number of people that do play a couple of pieces of equipment, this might be good. That at least maybe boards it. That also gets a maybe board. This can put +1/+1 counters on things. I don't think I care about that. This at least is a 3-5. Cool. Ooh, the Silk Lash Spider is darn good. Whoops. That's not maybe a board. We're checking out the printings first. And we're going to put in this one. Because it's a 2/7. That's already great. And it can... it's anti-aircraft. And I know our commander doesn't care about toughness over power. It's just that most spiders are that, so so I guess technically the ones up here that had like 4 power were still good. But that's barely good because it's effectively a 3/3. This one's better. Return from engraver to the battlefield tapped. Reach, trample. Honestly, those weren't even that good anyway. As long as it has reach, it's good. So like this, this has reach. It's just Oracle to reach. So a 4/4 for 5 with reach. And then a 4/4 with vigilance reach, so it doesn't have to worry about being untapped. We will maybe board both of these. This is a 5/7 for 6. Tap and untap spider you control. Oh, but it searches for a card that's not going in this deck. That could have been cool, though. This is a 2/6. Watcher of the Web has a wild ability. It can block an additional 7 creatures. I think that's going to go in because, like, it's not going to block those 7 creatures successfully. Well, successfully, I guess, a little bit. Shadows over Innistrad. Yep, okay. It's probably not going to live, but, like, that's cool as heck. This can destroy a creature with flying on entering. Sacrifice lands that deal 1 damage to each creature with flying. That's some techie stuff I'm not going to mess with, but that is interesting. Cactarantula. Costs 1 less for control of desert. And then if they go to remove it, at least we get to draw a card. I don't think that ever got reprinted. Nope. I do like that, even though it's a small but comparatively one. Pale Recluse has forest cycling or plane cycling and reach. Vigilance reach. That can maybe board. I like the Cascade. And then anything else, the other thing that came in that turn will get a +1/+1 counter, so that's fine. Oh, it itself gets 1. It's garbage, but you get a free spell. This creature can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. I do like Super Menace. This gets maybe boarded. Because that you can cycle it for a forest or plains. That doesn't have to be basic. That's it goes to your hand, but that's still better than nothing. Flash Reach. Reach Trample, but it costs 7. When Glint Weaver enters the battlefield, distribute 3 +1/+1 counters among 1, 2, or 3 target creatures. Then you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. That's neat, but we're not doing that. Hatchery Spider. When you cast this spell, reveal the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creatures in your graveyard. You may put a green permanent card with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield. Put the rest of the bottom of your library in order. Okay. This has reach, but regular cycling. And then this has reach. Okay. You go back to the top. We can put in 10 more, and there's 14 cards on our maybe board. How many creatures do we have? We have 15. Okay, so let's go down here and look at our curve. Okay, so we're definitely looking for higher end stuff now. Yeah, we are definitely done with the lower end. Oh, look, we're adding green stuff, and we would like to put more green stuff in our thing. Neat. You know what? We're not going to do the Vigilance one. We're not going to do the other Vigilance one either. What was it called? Oh, that other one didn't even make it into the thing, did it? Or did it make it into the regular thing? Where would it be? This should go into Mass Disruption. Okay, so same thing. Okay, so yeah, so we can get rid of everything. That costs 2 because that is a kind of a jammed up section. Make sure nothing else has. Oh, there's the other one. Ding. Select all. Auto. Just they can go wherever they want. And then you can go to counters because that's what you do. And now we have room for 2 more. And I'm just gonna go Archer. I just want to see if there's any archers. Oh, we have the Vigilance, Death Touch, Reach, Dragon Sniper Jerk. He's funny. Gets bigger when it blocks flying. Oh, this guy can deal 1 damage to each creature with flying without having to sacrifice land. This thing can pay mana to deal 1 damage to target creature with flying. Do we still... Hold on. Did... What... That one thing make it into here? No, we didn't put any of my protection artifacts into here. Because I was going to say, oh, I put Mithril Coat in here, but not any of the ones that give Hexproof or Shroud. Oh wow, Mithril Coat on the Watcher in the Webs is actually really nice. You know what? I'm going to put in... No, like, I want to put in the Basilisk color, but like, it would end up on the Scattershot Archer or the Skyway Sniper, but that's probably not actually a good use of my deck. I could put the Sakura Tribe Elder in here because I don't think that's... Did I neglect the Sakura Tribe Elder in my ramp? I sure did. Not that I need it. I do want the Thought Vessel. Talisman, da-da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, I don't really need it. This is letting me know that archers don't really go in this deck. Archers will be getting their own deck in the future in the These Decks Build Themselves series of Typal decks. I like my much more expensive spider for these. But I think I am just going to Sakura Tribe Elder, and then I am going to put in the other thing. So we're going to Basilisk Color. Because the dream is to have that and that one spider in play at the same time, even though I have no way to tutor them. We gotta have the good boy. And that is that deck. Well, that's the first 4. And we're a little over an hour in. So it looks like we can do all 6. So, hello, Ken. Is the next one. This, I do not need to... Oh, Borderlands 4 hasn't come out yet? Oh, wait. Oh, no, it's... Huh. It was like a Fortnite crossover promotion on Epic, and I'm like... I'm so surprised that it hasn't come out yet, but whatever. So, Ryu. World Warrior is 2 and a white for a 2/4 human warrior. With training, whenever this creature attacks with another creature with greater power, our boy gets a +1/+1 counter. And then also we can pay 4 and a red and untap Ryu to do a Hadouken, to discard a card. Ryu deals damage equal to his power to any target. Excess damage was dealt to a creature this way, we get to draw a card. Nice. So we can either take out creatures or dome an opponent at the cost of 5 and a card in our hand. That is wild that the next section is land. Oh, it's because we only have 66 cards in this deck, so this is another one that we're going to have to build. So we're going to want cards that we don't mind discarding and or ways to get cards back out of our discard pile. This gives us haste. That's important. And then... Oh, this gives Exalted, so if we only attack with Ryu. Yes, I insist on saying it exactly like that every time, unless I forget. So it gives... So whenever we attack with a creature that's attacking by itself, it gets +1/+1. Hilarious. Command Tower. I really like this Jurassic Park Command Tower for every one of these decks because it does feel like a stage. Parlor, Snarl, Misfailed Plains again. That way you can just slide stuff back into our deck. Oh, and here's the red one. There wasn't one that looked like a good interior, so this is just, you know, this crystal and skyscraper looking thing. There's the white one again. Rogue's Passage to make Ryu unblockable. Shattering Spree, Vandal Blast again, Heliod, Mizium, Delayed Blast Fireball, Settle the Wreckage, Sonic Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Boros Signet, Cold Steel Heart, Felwar Stone, Fire Diamond, Marble Diamond, Mind Stone, Talisman of Conviction, Iron Crag, Thought Vessel, Solemn Simulacrum, Hadouken, which is just Lightning Bolt, so it deals 3 damage to any target. Path to Exile, Swords of Plowshares, Unwanted Remake, Bovine Intervention, Disenchant, Fateful Absence, Parting Gust, Generous Gift, Memories of Nibelheim, So, we really could do with 2 more pieces of removal, but I've exhausted the ones that I like using, and even added one that I don't normally put in just because that was a bonus card in the Secret Lair. So, like, what do we want to put in this deck now? That's going to be the hard part. I got a message all over the place. I'll in about 40 minutes to another hour, I will reply to all those people. Let's see what other people did. Yeah, okay. I'm not putting the Chaos Warp in. I see they also wanted a bunch of equipment. I can... Oh, Basilisk Collar, yeah, okay. And then that, yep. And that, okay. It was equal to his power to any target? Yes, okay, I understand. I understand where people went. Okay, I understand everyone. Oh, yep, that too. Yep, okay. It's basically Voltron. I understand. Oh, Springlink Drum is hilarious because it's a way to tap Ryu without attacking. Oh, yep, of course that. Okay. So, first thing I'm going to do is, because I saw something that I want to go through first. No, not that one. Not this one. Casting artifacts from our graveyard because you know they're going to get destroyed. For each samurai and warrior we control, he costs 5. It does give us, it does untap it, so we kind of have to use the ability. But getting an additional combat is fine. And then I don't... Oh, giving it lifelink. Just a flat +1/+1 until end of turn. There we go. I'm gonna give them their own section though. Just making sure they're not hiding anywhere. 37, 6, 12, 10. Yep. We're just going to call this attacks alone. Boy, that means they're going to be stuck right next to Ryu the whole time. And then we're going to go over here. We're going to go to artifacts. So we can grab the boots, the collar. Not that one. Not that one. Sure, that one. Yeah, the Esper Sentinel, because that's funny. The Lion Sash for the graveyard removal. The Greaves, the Hammer, the Coat. The Shadow Sphere. I do like the drum. Excalibur. And this would be protection from everything but red and white. But we're not going to do that. But we are going to go over here and go T equip. And then, oh, you've seen me do this before. Hex EP or Indestruct or O blocked. Brotherhood, Darksteel Plate, Champion's Helm. May as well Calder's complete. Mirror Shield, you never know. Psychic Paper, Prowler's Helm. And that's it. Okay. We are at 88. We have 7 creatures, so I do want more creatures in here. So we want Cloud, the Midgar Mercenary, and Stoneforge Mystic. Also narrowed down the number of tutors that you can have before they throw you into bracket 3, and that's 3. So if we add another one, it would throw us to 4. I'd use Oma in the Armory, even though it costs more as an instant, if I was putting Amy Rose in this and throwing, you know, just throwing in, boy, that does look like a silly fighting game character, doesn't it? Anyway, there's another creature I want to put in, but it'll be faster to look over here. So we want the Pure Steve, we want that, we want that, we want him, we do want that. We want that. We also want that because it'll make Hadouken cost less. Equipment costs 1 less. We could put in these doublers, but we're also going to do that. Oh, that puts us exactly at 100. And we have 18 creatures, which is a little under par. We have 27 artifacts. I don't know how many of them are equipment. ramp. We have 18 pieces of ramp, which I do feel is important. That does mean we can probably take out Solom and put in something else. Yeah, like how many pieces of equipment do we have? Well, that's 8, that's 9, that's 10, 11, that's 12. We're going to put you up here. 13, 14, 15. 15 pieces of equipment? That's probably not enough. Technically 16, because we can turn Ironcrag into a piece of equipment. I think I know who I want the other one to be. T creature, T equip. There is a specific one I want. Yep, the God of Battle. I feel like that dude like Ryu. And I'm not going to bother with card frames for now. I can come back to do that later, but for the purposes of this video, we are done. Yeah, and this deck could definitely be better, but this is just the one I put together now. So next is Kin Masters, another one I think I have all 100 cards in. This is a deck that I love, even though there's a lot of magical Christmas land in it. So we have Kin Burning Brawler, 1 and 2 red for a 4/2. That is absolutely fitting, because he was always the more aggressive of the two between him and Kin and Ryu. He also has Prowess, so whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this creature gets +1/+1 until end of turn, which is interesting. And then you can pay a red or a white to give him first strike until end of turn, which is handy since he has no defense. And then Shoryuken. Whenever Kin deals combat damage, it doesn't have to be a player, so it's to a creature, player, battle, planeswalker, whatever else. You may cast a sorcery spell from your hand with mana value less than or equal to the damage without paying its mana cost. So he doesn't have haste, which stinks, but that's 4 or less at base. Basilisk Collar to give him Death Touch and Lifelink. Totek Spear to give Lifelink and to remove Hexproof and Indestructible from stuff. The Greaves for the haste and the shroud. For the Hexproof for the shroud and the haste. Increases his power and gives him Hexproof, Indestructible. Oh, hey, look, it's Halvar, also a fan of Ken. There is the other side where it gives him +2/+0 and Vigilance, which this side is not the side for Ryu. Ryu wants the double strike and the free attach. Hammer, Embercleave, +1/+0 and double strike and trample. Double strike is important for Kin because that means he can cast 2 spells. And this is getting into the funny of the deck. Exalted. Whenever a creature you control attacks alone, it gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Exalted. 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 It also has another thing where if Kin attacks alone, you can tap a creature. Whenever a non-creature Whenever a non-token creature you control dies, investigate. Clues you control have exalted. Whenever you cast your second spell each turn, draw a card and create an 0/3 wall with Defender. At the beginning of combat on your turn, creatures you control with Defender gain exalted until end of turn. This thing has exalted, and then other creatures you control have exalted. And exalted does they trigger separately, so multiple instances of exalted will all trigger, even if one creature has it more than once. Exalted, and whenever a creature control attacks alone, it gets lifelink. And then bonus combat, bonus combat, bonus combat, bonus combat, bonus combat, but you have to cast this in your main phase. You have to cast it in your main phase for 6, but you get 2 additional combat, so that's worth the downside. You just Fury of the Horde, that's additional combat. Half of this is additional combat, and that's the important half. Clues we control are also equipment. So when Armed with Proof enters the battlefield, investigate twice. So there are equipment that have +2/+0 and equip 2. Whenever you cast a creature spell with converted mana cost 3 or less, you investigate, which is a big amount of this deck, including our commander. Whenever you attack, investigate. Whenever you sacrifice a clue, venture into the dungeon. At the beginning of your upkeep, investigate once for each opponent who has more cards in hand than you. Whenever a creature attacks you or a planeswalker you control, investigate. Then we have the haste land, and then the exalted land again. Basically, I think the exact same lands that were in Ryu's deck. Oh, Rogue's Passage, so it can't be blocked. Yep. Shattering Speed, Vandal Bath, and this is going to be the same, isn't it? Yep. Do. Yep. All of this. And the Solemn, who will get to stay this time. And then, of course, Hadouken, Lightning Bolt. Oh, we don't want the foil version. Okay, now we have Magical Christmas Land. So count the number of cards in your library. Your life total becomes that number. So if we can get, the thing is that if we can get Kin's power up to 8, we can cast this for free. We do that with equipment and exalted triggers, and then our life total will jump from 45 to 90 neighborhood. Then Stormherd, if we can get Kin's attack power up to 10, we can put X +1/+1 counters, or X +1/+1 White Pegasus creature tokens with flying into play, where X is our life total. These 2 cards are the deck. Of course, you have to draw them, so that's like Magical Christmas Land. And then you also have to have a hand that can get out Ken and get his power up to eventually 10. This is a maybe board card. I think it's the only card in the maybe board, because it makes clues on our upkeep, but it costs 5. But we can also sacrifice 3 clues to tutor. And that was the whole deck. Yep. Oh, did I skip over some removal? No. Okay, that's funny. Because, oh, I used to have other big damage, blow things up spells, but I replaced them with these extra attack cards, because that was funnier to me. Yeah. This deck is very silly. Now we go to the Jund Cyclone, Zangief, and we need 22 more cards in this deck once we're done looking at what's in here. I don't know what's missing, but so hopefully I can read this while I pour myself some water. Oh, I don't. I might as well just drink the water straight out of this jug because I forgot to bring in another flavor enhancer. Room temperature plain water. My favorite. Bleh. So, Zangief, the Red Cyclone, 2 and Jund for a 7/4, Human Warrior. Zangief, the Red Cyclone, must be blocked if able. As long as it's your turn, Zangief is indestructible. Whenever Zangief deals damage to a creature, if that creature was dealt excess damage this turn, which means we don't want to give him trample. That's a very important thing for me to remember. That creature's controller sacrifices a non-creature, non-land permanent. Neat. Roaming Throne to double triggers. So, that means we get to destroy 2 things. Infiltration Lens. Whenever a creature becomes blocked, we draw a card. Or we may draw 2 cards. That's funny, because our guy has to be blocked. Whenever one or more creatures in control become blocked, we draw a card. Nice. And then we can also force a block, but that doesn't matter. It also counts fights. Basilisk Collar for Death Touch, because that guarantees excess damage. And Lifelink. Lifelink on a thing with 7 power is neat. Shadow Spear gives trample. That's bad. But that's bad for Zangief, but it also has the remove hexproof and indestructible. That's important. Lightning Greaves, Shroud, hexproof, also haste. That's important. And we are, interestingly enough, already onto our lands. Once again, wanted them to look like fighting game locations or beat 'em up locations. And you can't tell me like some of these wilder places didn't have fights in them. Some of these might just be places that Zangief would just be. Sad that that's the best version of Savage Lands, at least in my opinion. And then we have green, so we have all the tainted. We have the tainted lands as well. Oh, Zatora's Proving Ground. I would have put in a different version, but I definitely 100% wanted the Wrestling Ring version. Pest Infestation, Shattering Spree, Vandal Blast, Mizium Mortars, Delayed Blast, Fireball, Wind Grace's Judgment for Mass Disruption, even though it only destroys maximum 3 things. Blasphemous Act, because it's a sorcery that doesn't get rid of our commander. This is one of the only times you'll see it, and it is funny. Mr. Orfeo, whenever we attack, we can make Zangief's power 14. Xenagos, but I use this interesting, I think it's Spanish Secret Lair version for Xenagos, just because it was interesting. It's not a creature if you don't have total Gruul Devotion of 7, and then at the beginning of combat on your turn, another target creature you control gains haste and +X until end of turn, where X is that creature's power. So that doubles its power, but also gives it a defense boost it doesn't need. We got our Soul Ring, Arc Sig, Golg Sig, which we can change to that. Gruul, which we will change to that. Into the North, Nature's Lore, Farseek, Rakdos Signet, Impulse, Indulgence, Resilience, 3 Visits, Assassin's Trophy, Go for the Throat, Heartless Act, Infernal Grasp, Tear Asunder, Terminate, even though Exterminate is its own card, Feast Within, Atomize, Baleful Mastery, Drag to the Roots, Mortality Spear. So we can have a bunch more things. We could probably do sorcery speed fight spells too, but like we're in colors that give us destroy target permanent and destroy target non-land permanent, and I just like having these spells in there just to have more non-green spells in the deck because like we're pretty heavy in green. Let's see, we're gonna Brash Taunter because he's funny. And once again, it fits the vibe of the deck. Oh, Brash Taunter could have gone in Ryu's deck too. That's funny. Ryu's deck. But Ryu already lost it, my dudes. But yeah, Ryu can already hit any target, so he doesn't need this help. Not that this guy needs this help, this is just funny. Oh, and I see I put all of this stuff in a gear section, which also means this should go in here because it's gear. We could increase our damage, but we're not going to. We can also put in it's either the Rakdos one or the mono red one that says whenever any player sacrifices something, it deals a damage. But I don't think we're gonna do that. We are gonna EDH wreck though because I have no idea. You know, these aren't bad. I just don't want them in any of my decks. We don't need more ramp, though it is tempting to put in the Ignoble Hierarch because it has Exalted. So I think we will put him in just because he has Exalted, and that's funny. Target creature you control deals damage equal to each other creature and each opponent. I can see where you're coming from, but I don't want to get rid of my own creatures. Even though I have... Actually, you know what? That's still a good idea. Because it's 7. Although it's Chandra's Ignition, not Zangief's Ignition. That stuff like that does bother me. Birds of Paradise doesn't make it in because it doesn't have Exalted on it. Rhythm of the Wild, so our creatures can't be countered. But we can also give our creatures. Also, our creatures have Riot. That's actually. Oh, it did a thing where. Where it was being silly about how I was clicking. So Rhythm of the Wild. We'll do the Wolverine with Rhythm of the Wild because optional haste or +1/+1 counter depending on where we're at in the thing. Red or green. We have a whole nother color in our deck, but that's still good. That's 2/3 of our deck at least. Oh, see, like here, Bushwhack, it costs 1. Makes our creatures bigger. Then we can ramp for ramp. And then we can also do a fight. So yeah, we are going to do Domri. We're probably going to... I also like Domri, and I do feel... We're doing Reincarnated Domri. Yeah, this is Bloomborough Commander Domri. We're doing that version. That's... Whew. Whenever a creature you control becomes blocked, it gets plus 3 until end of turn for each creature blocking it. I can see where you're coming from with that. Oh, attacking creatures get Death Touch. Or tapped creatures have Death Touch and untapped creatures have Hexproof. Oh yeah, Kedis again. I can see the reasoning, because this incentivizes them to block even if they have to sacrifice something. Oh, and I like the Mage Slayer. Whenever a equipped creature attacks, it deals damage equal to its power to the player or planeswalker it's attacking. Let's just see if what other versions exist. Like, there's a big pile of sets that I don't know what they are. So, the reason why I'm not picking up these fight ones is because I am specifically looking for other ones. I don't think we need Phyrexian Arena. Or, actually, okay, actually our draw section is really poo-poo doo-doo bad. How many creatures do we have? 9. I do want more. Mostly because, like, our big dude here is just going to be attacking all the time. You know what? Yeah, the Quake Mole, he's just a silly good creature. And he does... oh, we're going to use this version because, like, we don't actually want to see him in person. This is just the news report of all of his damage. Oh, the Dominus, of course. I do like these black and white ones. Overlord. We also want the green Overlord just because it... oh, this thing's a wild looking creature. It's an expensive card, but that's because it's actually kind of good. This is just another piece of ramp because it makes an everywhere token. And then we're going to go MV equals 1-0 fight. Blizzard Brawl, Bushwhack. Clash of the Icons. Hunt the Hunter. Longstock Brawl. Actually, I'm going to maybe board all of these because there's way more of these than I thought there were. I don't think I actually want them, but they are funny. So maybe board, maybe board, maybe board, maybe board, maybe board. Yeah, there are way more of these than I thought there were. Huh. That's mildly interesting. If it entered the battlefield this turn, it gets a +1/+1 counter. You're an aura. We don't need that. Mutant's Prey is actually a funnily named card. That destroys vehicles, which is pointless. Prey upon. Primal Might. Savage Swipe. Tail Swipe. What I like that it says damage to a creature, and I'm just going to dump all of these out. Select all. Delete. When it deals damage to a creature, if that creature was dealt excess damage... Yeah, so that's why the fights and the deal damage spells would be good, but I do kind of want blockers. And again, I don't want to overload this. I do want more black stuff in this deck. I could take out some of my ramp now that I'm at this point. Probably the talismans. But like, we are in a 3-color deck, and I want to be sure that I get the things. I could put in... No, that thing has way too many green pips in it. There's that enchantment that doubles all of our stuff. It's funny that that's called protection. Is there another section that can go in? Not really. That's not really evasion. That is a finisher, though. We could put in more stuff that gives death touch. So we're going back over here. Going in here, and I just want to see creatures. Oh, okay, so I like this. It's a creature that can make stuff fight. Once a turn. Oh, and look at this. Look at this Secret Lair. Brrr. We like it. I do think Marhelt Eld's Dragon should be in the deck, because that this does increase the likelihood of excess damage. Helena and Elena does hand out haste. We don't want trample. That prevents excess damage, I think. I'm not 100% sure, but it doesn't feel good. So there's the Pitiless Plunderer that gives us tokens when stuff dies, and Morbid Opportunist that gives us card draw when stuff dies once a turn. So now we have 6, and again, I still just want creatures. Are there any creatures in the artifact section? There are the lizard blades. I do like the double strike is interesting, but I don't think that helps. Oh, it fights something with the same mana value. That doesn't really help. Let's go back up to creatures to see if anything new showed up. This makes Zangief less expensive, but also gives trample when it attacks. And I just, once again, I doubt that that's. Oh, additional combats. Yep. Okay. This one, of course. So that's 5 more. Oh, what I like about this is that if I say human, that's at least 2 things. This one doesn't count because it triggers once a turn. Who else gets multiple? If I say warrior, if I say warrior, that's these 3 things. And then that doesn't have a triggered. Oh, and this is warrior. So I have a couple of triggers for human, but I have more triggers for warrior for what it's worth with roaming throne. Oh, where's... oh, he's down here, duh. The Pitiless Plunder is a human. So it's just mildly interesting to see how many things. So we're going to go over here. Let's go T creature O additional O combat. That's modified creatures specifically. That's samurai specifically. I think I will put in some doublers, but they have to be creatures. Damage. Double. And how many of these can I have? I can have 5 of them. So, oh, let's order CMC. So let's make this order CMC. No. So these low-end ones. Even though he's very tall, Zangief is not a giant. So we don't want non-combat, that doesn't matter. If a source we control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent that opponent controls, it deals double instead. If a source would deal damage to an opponent, that's not the same. If a source we control would deal damage to a permanent or player, it deals double that damage. So we'll go that, an O, and the word plus. So this adds a +1, this adds +2. Why not? And Zangief is red. So that gives us one more. Like, every little bit helps, and it also increases all of our red sources. And all of our sources in general. How many creatures are we up to? We're at least at 22 creatures plus our commander. That makes me feel a lot better. We're not making any token creatures from what I can tell. So one more check at EDH Rec. And again, it's not bad to check EDH Rec. It's just that when you build your entire deck around its suggestions, like I have repeatedly ignored anything that gives trample. How many things do we have that draw us a card? Only 2. Our card draw is absolute rat garbage terrible. I do want my last card to be black mana, at least. Like, Unnatural Growth is a cool card, but it's like 4 green pips. Let's go back into enchantments. I mean, not enchantments, artifacts. You know what? Great Henge. Works for me. Proxy the heck out of this, my dudes. This is some... That is a lot of money to pay for cardboard. So there we go. There's Jund Cyclone. And we're down to You Can Count on Guile. Which I'm so glad Edge of Eternities is out. Because that came out with a lot of stuff for this deck. And I think our deck lost some cards. Because it only shows 36 lands. So let's go up here. Let's go to added and removed cards. So Steel Shaper's Gift came out and Stoneforge Mystic came out. Yeah, that's because I decided I did not want okay, that is a very odd set of things that are gone. What do we got? We got 3 mountains, 3 plains. Oh, we got an extra plains. Three mountains, 1 island. That should be 3 islands, and it should also not be those islands. It should definitely be Streets of New Capenna. So let's fix this really quick. There we go. So how many is that? Now it's 37. Okay, so it Architect does that sometimes. It futzes with your stuff. Looking at that and going, actually, I don't want that, do I? Anyway, let's meet the commander. Guile, Sonic Soldier. One in Jeskai for a 4/4 human soldier. Whenever Guile, Sonic Soldier, enters the battlefield or attacks, put a charge counter on him or remove one from him. When you remove a counter this way, choose one. Sonic Boom. Guile, Sonic Soldier, deals 4 damage to any target. Flash Kick. Guile, Sonic Soldier, gains lifelink and indestructible until end of turn. You only get one of those things, but that's still cool. And you also might have noticed that we certainly don't have 100 cards in this deck, so this one, I was waiting for Edge of Eternity. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, draw a card. I plan on having a lot of non-creature spells in this deck, for what it's worth. Then our lands, Arena of Glory, of course. All these pretty lands to look like places that you would fight. For what it's worth. And then the boots, I got rid of the Greaves because it gives Shroud, and Shroud is not something I want in this deck on our commander. So Hexproof and Haste. Please don't attack me. Indestructible, so we don't have to worry about that other thing. Propaganda, because please don't attack me. Though, yeah, this one rather than the other one. Sonic Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Azoria Signet, Boros Signet, Felwar Stone, Izzet Signet, Mind Stone, Talisman of Conviction, Talisman of Creativity, Talisman of Progress, Iron Crag, Thought Vessel, Shattering Spree, Vandal Blast, Heliod's Intervention, Mizium Mortars, Blade of the Last Fireball, Aetherize, Settle the Wreckage, Aether Spouts, Danging Verdict, destroy all creatures with no counters on them, Path to Exile, Swords to Plowshares, Unwanted Remake, Bovine Intervention, Faithful Absence, Parting Gust, Reality Shift, Generous Gift, Memories of Nibelheim. So, the stuff we want now is stuff for charge counters, which you're probably saying, hey, video dude, a lot of those things that you're thinking of cares more about it being an artifact than anything else. Well, you're not wrong. T equip O hex hexep or O endist. That should be good enough. That should be enough of the words. I missed a U. So, Champion's Helm. Grab the correct version while we're here. Dark Steel Plate. Color Complete is still a lot. We still like the hammer. I think we're going to skip Calder this time. Mirror Shield, just because, like, I'm paranoid about other people having Death Touch. I'm just going to say that right now. And then the Shadow Sphere, just to remove Death Touch and Indestructible from stuff. Lifelink is also great when you have a built-in way to hit stuff. Oh, it's Goldberry, not Goodberry. She's very slow, but for now she makes it into the deck. She might get her butt kicked out of the deck, but that's fine. But over the course of 2 turns, you can move a counter from her to something else. Although there is that untap 2. I don't think I'm going to have a whole lot of a hard time. Yeah, the Healing House. Untap another target permanent or untap 2 other target legendaries. That at least can get Goldberry, I'm sorry. Sorry for not knowing her name. And something else. But now we go. Charge counter. I'm also probably going to want proliferation. Oh, that's what that is. Okay. You know me, those weird sounds are me just moving my table and myself around. Hoi! It'd be cool to have Captain America in this deck, but there's no reason to put Captain America in this deck other than it would be cool. So, unfortunately, though, his shield might make it into the deck because I think that's the shield that proliferates. If not, oh well. Because we're moving around charge counters, although I'm going to grab a different version. Although I do love this version because this is very that... It's kind of 2 Star Trek references because the way it looks overall reminds me of the Doomsday device, but it's also that one portal that well, this is all the original series stuff, but that one portal that could send them like back in time. So we'll use this version. And this way we can put charge counters on it. Aether Vial is a good way to get charge counters on a thing because you can just rack them up. Okay, this copies instants and sorceries. Charge counter. Actually, first I'm going to look for the things that move charge counters. Oh, this thing can also get charge counters. That's mildly interesting. Also really quick. Oh, that's why she's good, because she does it specifically from permanents, and she doesn't care what kind of permanent it is, even if she's slow. Neat. Ooh. It costs, but the Ion Storm is mildly interesting, because you can remove charge counters or +1/+1 counters from stuff to deal 2 damage. It's a little expensive, but it's a thing you can do. Oh yeah, this thing also can have charge counters, the Jinx Choker. Charge counter. This is very slow. Oh, the GT can have charge counters. That's very interesting. Oh, there we go. Remove a counter from a permanent control. Choose one. Put a charge counter on target artifact. That's artifact specifically. Mildly interesting that it feels like that the list version of it had slightly darker printing. But we plan on fixing that with a couple of cards. Oh, this thing comes in with 6, and then you can move it, move those around. That's at least 6 free counters. We'll do the Clouds Buster Swordum as always Jite. And then the Lost Jite is technically worse, but we're also going to grab that one. So now we're going to move the word charge and just have the word counter. I think I'm going to -0 remove. Okay, that's specifically 1/1 counters, but that's mildly interesting. Okay. That's mildly. Some of these things. Ooh, move a counter from target creature onto another target creature. I like this. I don't think it's ever been reprinted. It has to untap, so we have to find a way to tap it. And it costs mana, but that's still a thing that exists. We still want it. Oh, Riku, Resourceful Guardian. Let's see what this does. That's promising. Whenever you put one or more counters on a creature until end turn, that creature can't be blocked. Okay. Steal. Move a counter from target creature an opponent controls onto a creature you control. Oh. I really should have remembered that that was a thing. Whenever you can... Oh. Resource for defense. It costs 5, but at least it doesn't care what kind of permanent, and it's not once per turn. Oh, wow, this is an old card. I think we're going to use the Final Fantasy version. I just like, even though I'm not a big Tidus, Waka, and whatever his name's fan, although Lulu's cool. Oh, the Nesting Grounds. Yeah, this was, this is also another thing that they gave us in the special bonus thing from Edge of Eternity. Although I think I'm going to use this version. That is... It's weird. It's all lands. Whenever a creature control leaves the battlefield, it had counters on it. Those counters go on this, yes. We're going to do the Adamantium Bonding Tank, for the record. But even though it's all lands, it's one of my favorite bonus sheets. The other one being the Strixhaven Mystical Archives. I think those are the only two that I really, really like. Oh, wait, no. So, to get a top 3, it would be Strixhavens and these lands, and then also the, if you ever see the version of Pest Infestation I like putting in decks, that newspaper style. That old-timey newspaper style I really like. So that's like my top 3. What are we at up here? We're at 89. type. We only have 3 creatures, but that's fine. There are 2. Nope. Liquid? No. Metal? Liquid metal. Oh, it's one word. So both of these cards' whole job is to turn Guile into an artifact. But let's artifact in addition. Is there anything else that does that? Oh, okay. We don't need that. I mean, this would do it permanently, but I don't know if that's worth a slot. Auton Soldier could do it to become a second Guile. Mimnarch, it does it permanently, but it costs 7, and you'd have to remember to do it. Oh, there's Mere Land Shaper. It's a creature that does it, so it makes it not really as worth it as these two. Heck, the coding is not as good as the torque, because the torque is at least mana rock when you don't need to turn something into an artifact. Oh, this is interesting. Silver Skin Armor. Oh, hey, look, it's only ever been printed once. We are gonna put some bad cards in this deck because I don't care. We'll put in this as well. Whoops, but we don't want this version. There's one that has no border. We want that one. And then you know what? Just for the giggles, we'll put in Ashnod's Transmigrant. That amuses me to no end. So now we're 94. But now we want more stuff that can have charge counters. I was going to put in Proliferate. Let's go by types again. Is Whirlwind of Thought still... yes, it's still a good card. 29, 33, 44. Now we definitely want the Ghostly Prison and Propaganda, because there's not a lot of stuff. Though the question is, why do we... The question I'm asking myself now is, like, why do we want more charge counters on him when he gets one every time he attacks? Especially since he'll always have one more than he needs. Oh wait, when he enters the battlefield or attacks, put a charge counter on him or remove one from him. Oh, it's because he has to charge up, and that's why we want to put him on him, so we never have to put one on him with his own ability. Aha, I get it now. puts one on it. Okay, so now O charge counter O up keep. I forgot my so the Aether file gets one at the beginning of her upkeep. That one get one every upkeep. I just realized that there is a card I do want to take out. It's that Astral Cornucopia. Because while it's a neat piece of ramp, I don't think we actually need it. You go into counters, because that's putting a +1/+1 counter on something is not protecting it. That is also not protecting it, but I'm not sure where that would go. Where did the liquid metal coating go? Because there's the torque. Oh, it's liquid metal. There's no D in it. So it's in this deck somewhere. It just vanished. It's not in protection. It's not a piece of ramp. This also goes into counters, for the record. There's the liquid metal torque. See, now this is just plain bothering me. Oh, it's in liquid metal coating. Well, I'm putting it in counters because that's what it's in my deck for. Okay, anyway, so now we get 7 more things. They could definitely be creatures. They don't have to be creatures, but they could definitely be creatures. So this gives us free creatures, but that's largely pointless because of the few number of creatures we have. How many? Once again, we're going to be embarrassed. We have 4 creatures. So I really do kind of want these last 7 creatures, 7 cards to be creatures. Let's see. You know what? No, these I was about to take these in to put in 2 creatures, but I do think that they are better serving me. And geez, I hope that kid's all right. I think some kid fell. And we're at 38 lands for some reason. Oh, it's because I put in that one land that moves counters around. That's fine. What are we on? This? Oh, that's artifacts. Sorry, I gotta go back to categories. Lost. The two GTs do put in a lot of work. I think I'm going to dump. Actually, wait. Those other two things are Lost GT and the Liquid Metal Torque. Yeah, no, those don't really count for my ramp for what it's worth because I might do other things with them. Oh yeah, making putting +1/+1 counters on stuff is good. Target creature can't block. And I just thought of something. Control X O, remove, move O, counter O, draw. There's actually a couple of things in this section. In this, she needs specifically +1/+1 counters that this deck isn't doing. But this guy, I don't mind turning charge counters into card draw. And I think there's one more in white. That just came out in Edge of Eternities. But I don't remember its name. Although I think it might be put a counter. Oh no, it was cast a second spell. Never mind. Something completely different. Okay, none of these are creatures. That's wild. Oh, this guy can put charge counters on artifacts. I'm down with that. Because then we can just put... Oh, that... Oh, I just... Yeah, that... Because it doesn't matter if the artifact can use the charge counters. Oh, and then you go into draw, boy. What are we at? 95? Maybe we could grab a couple of... Maybe are there artifact creature tutors? Because that... Because drawing those to get our liquid metal stuff. You know, we're going to remove... well, no. No, that's fine. That's still fine. But I definitely need other stuff that puts that gets charge counters. Oh. T creature is tutor. I think I know which ones I want to grab. T wizard O, search, O, library, O, artifact. So we want the tribute mage and the trinket mage and maybe the trophy mage. Hold on, because the trinket may there's the 1-for-1 that can get any of these three, and the 1-for-2 can get either of these two or any of this stuff, to be fair. And then Cloud's Buster Sword, and then, but do we need the 1 for? Oh, and there's 2 more things that the 1. But do we need the 1 for 3? Because we have room for 1 more tutor. We could grab the 1 for 4 for that, but that doesn't seem necessary. We do have a couple of things in 3. We have the Champion's Helm, Dark Seal Plate, and the Mithril Coat. Let's take out Wizard to see what else. Delivering Moogle grabs another 2, but it costs more. I'm also going to change my printing. Oh, hello. There we go. And how many more can we have? 3 more. Like, we do have a couple of hits for the Trophy Mage. That might be good. Yeah, we don't really have that many hits for it. So the Tribute and Trinket Mage are definitely the ones to go with. I feel like this Moogle is good because it's 2 or less. It's 2 or less instead of exactly 2, even though it costs more. But it also has, it's a 3/2 with flying. So now we have 2 more, and none of those things that came with charge counters were creatures. So let's see if we have 2 more things with charge counters that are creatures. T creature. O charge counter. Okay, the core tapper can put charge counters on other things that have charge counters. Okay, this guy needs to do combat damage to get his charge counters. Sacrifice artifacts to proliferate. Okay, yeah, I think last 2 cards can be proliferate. Pro-life rate. Oh, I like her. Yeah, she can pay 2 to proliferate or populate. And then she gives us fabricate 1. And I know we can put 1 more down. I have a lot of cards in this deck for a combo that doesn't exist. Although I guess they can put it from Lost Jite or Umezawa's Jite. That's what they're there for. I think now we'll take that out. I still want our commander to be an artifact, so that's at least... This at least justifies that. Even though he costs 4. That was not what I meant to tick. We're up to 10 creatures. Yeah, the funny thing is that I'm wondering if I really need to bother with all of this charge counter stuff. When I could just lean into proliferate and proliferate him after he's come into play. Let's go to EDH Rec. Esper Sentinel, Thrumming Bird. You know that has to deal damage. Non-creature spell proliferate. Actually, that's good. Because we do have a lot of non-creature spells. I mean, we do have a Whirlwind of Thought going. Whenever you attack with one or more creatures with counters on them, draw a card. A second spell proliferate. Proliferate twice when you proliferate. Sure. Because now that I got this far, I do think that is the better angle. So now we're at 100. We only have a couple of things that proliferate. So I think, sorry Ashnod's Altar, you were cool in here for a hot second. So, no to you. What are you? Huh. We don't need you. Do we even need to move counters at all now? If I keep the two Jites, yeah, I'm still down. Okay, so I'm still down with keeping the 2 Jites and all of this stuff. That gets 1, and then the other one landed in removal where all of my... We're going to put this up here in counters, and this over here in counters, just because, just so I keep track of them. Oh, and you go down in tutors. Oh, I still, and I have more legendary creatures for her to untap. Yes, moves things from permanents. Because I can still, because if we get other kinds of counters, we can put them on the bonding tank and then move them to Guile. So I can take them off the GTAs, put them on the bonding tank. So that makes sense to me. And that's a way to get them to Guile. I mean, that's extra steps, but it did free up cards from my deck. And you know what? That one guy that puts charge counters on artifacts during my turn, I think I still want that. It was Vidalkin something. Vidalkin. It's 2 E's. Vidalkin. Vidal. 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 Hiya. And it was this one. And then, although for more card draw, maybe I want this Vidalkin Archmage, right? How many artifacts are in this deck? Category? We have 25, 26, because there's one over here. We have no way to tap this other than attack. We can untap it, but we can't tap it. Well, that's a problem for future me. Anyway, we have a lot of these, so let's do this. It's not on the counter strategy, but it's on the draw card strategy. There we go. This deck ended up a lot more jank than I expected it, because I had an idea going in, and then I realized that idea was bad even for me. We still have one more card we want to put in, or we need to put one more card in, and it definitely should be a creature. Let's visit EDH Rec again. Thrumming Bird for that's right. So T creature O pro-life rate order CMC. No. We don't have enough creatures for that. Oh, this thing. Whenever it becomes tapped, we proliferate. I also forgot this entire set existed, even though I was talking about how this set would do a lot of good for this. Set EOEO charge. Because these things are a way to get charge counters on artifacts to move them around. So that's on EOE. How about EOC? Oh, and this vessel that can do it says another target artifact, but that's fine. Yeah, because this we just have we can just put in a spacecraft. Oh, and then spacecraft have charge counters for the adamantium bonding tank. You also you go into proliferate. I think that has its own section. Yes. Also, you're going into proliferate because that's what I care about. Whoops, that is not the proliferate section. It moved. You are not the proliferate item. There we go. This is still good because we do have the one artifact. You go into counters. Oh, I don't need any of these anymore. Yep, we're making this one go long. I do want to put in more spacecraft. As it turns out. T-space. Like some cheap spacecraft. Or some ridiculously expensive spacecraft. This thing's funny. I also like the Eternity Elevator because it's ridiculous. Although I don't think we need it. It is ridiculous, but I don't think it's necessary. What is this one? That's for each artifact you control. This surveils. Oh, it also has flying, and it also stations really cheap. Oh, and the thing is that it'll be an artifact creature, right? And then when it dies, if we have the Ozolith out, there's also that Mycosynth thing that turns everything into an artifact. That is actually probably the thing that I should put in. Mycosynth. The lattice, yes. The heck is that from? P23? That's probably some special thing. DST. There we go. We don't have enough creatures. You go into removal. Or you go into targeted disruption. And honestly, you should have been called Mass Disruption a long time ago. Mass Disruption. We have 13 pieces of ramp because... Oh, we don't need the liquid metal torque anymore. There we go. I forgot to remove that. But now all of our things are artifacts, so that's good. Type. We're at 11 creatures. We're going to go up one more creature, because now all of our things are artifacts. We still have double the Guiles. And we're going to do the core tapper. There we go. This deck could be a lot better, to be quite honest. But it's my janky piece of garbage. So it is what it is. You can count on Guile. Now we go back, because I'm going to need this folder at a later date when I go to upload this video. Next week will be whatever I decide on, because I'm no longer giving hints and I'm no longer numbering these episodes. We're over 3 hours. Congratulations. See you next time.